My name is Brad. I work at the Blick store by the Symphony Hall in Boston. I'm an associate there. I've been there for about 3 years now. I consider myself a mixed media artist, basically. I prefer acrylic, but I like adding stuff to acrylic. And I think working at Blick has been a huge part of that. And over the years, I've just experimented with everything, and I'm still doing it. I mean, every time we get something new in, I'm eager to buy it because I want to try it out. I've always been influenced by ancient cultures and the way they look at animals, the way they look at symbolisms, gods, deities. And I've always liked to pair that with the way we look at animals and deities and such, nowadays. And kind of that juxtaposition between the two. Since I was a kid, I've had an obsession with animals, all kinds of animals. They just express pure emotion, and I like to try to kind of show the relationship between people and animals by just morphing them together. Typically, I take a wood panel. I cut up pages or paper or whatever just to give some kind of texture and glue it all down with gloss medium. I sand it so it's nice and smooth. Then I start either just putting in little subtle color, like watering down acrylic and just giving it a tone, or using a brayer. Gives it a nice coat, but it also leaves some kind of texture in there. I take a card or a spatula and I drag it down the surface. And what that does is it leaves the paint in some sections, and it'll go in some of the nooks and crannies that were created by the pages. And then I usually take some sandpaper to it to sand it all down, take away some of the paint in some areas, and let some of the text from, book pages that I use, or let whatever is on the bottom surfaces show through. So the Prismacolor I usually use as color studies. They're the perfect tool to really get down exactly what colors for the piece that I'm ultimately going to do. The regular colored pencils are super smooth and buttery. I use them like paint, and I rub it in as hard as I can and kind of blend it afterwards. The markers, they're great, again, for the color studies. You can just lay a bunch of color down really quickly. They blend really, really well. They give me a base for painting, because you can paint right over them and I can just go right back into it. Being an artist is great, but also terrible. It's frustrating, it's exciting. A lot of it is just keeping on doing it until something clicks, until it makes sense to you. And once it makes sense to you, the viewer will be able to relate to it because it clicked with you in the end.